First and best trip, blew my back apart. Second trip, I think I hit the reef, but not too bad. Third trip, I literally nearly lost my nipple. Then the last one I just did, got hit in the back of the head by a lip, and it just completely decimated me, and it kind of like dazed me and threw me off for the whole session. Greenbush, what a crazy wave.
Holy shit. What the? That's like the wall. It's like the photo of the wall. That's the one. That's the wall photo. That was the one. What the?
I've had some of the most incredible sessions out there, and one that really comes to mind is a session that I got to share with a bunch of really good mates on a boat trip that we did with What Youth back in 2016. We scored a handful of the A-grade Mentawais waves that you go there for. You know, we got Macca's as good as it gets. We got this crazy right slab that they refer to as red nut as good as it gets. We expected to see big waves for Greenbush from the south, like perfect direction. That was what the forecast was saying. And we were just like, this is gonna be either maxing too big or like the craziest shit we've ever seen. You could just see these like backless things and just spitting so hard out the back of them. 10 years later, it's still the best session I've had out there. It goes from like a perfect freight train, typical Indo reef barrel to like this heavy detonating slab that you'd expect to see on the south coast of Australia or somewhere. You just sort of like, fuck, I just got to get to the end of this thing. And you see the reef, you see the wave just completely distort. You don't really have a choice. Once you commit, you are on that to the end. Wherever that ends, whether it's like the perfect angle and perfect wave that hits the reef from start to finish, or it ends a little earlier, or it closes out and bucks you up. It's definitely like nature's finest amphitheater. It's a pretty cool feeling coming out of a psycho pit into like everyone screaming at you and everything going on. I'd always dreamt about letting go of the rail like on crazy big pits, and a lot of the waves that we surf around home are either rights that are quite big or the little beachy lefts that we get are you're not letting go of the rail, that's for sure. But I just remember as a kid always just watching Bruce and Andy at Chopes. Yeah, it just always like just looked so insane to me. The waves were like really conducive to it, and I just had a field day of enjoying big, crazy blue, green, heavy stand-up backside pits. Day 2 came back, was a little bit smaller, more perfect, better shape, was almost a better version of it, but just smaller, like, and the sun wasn't out. It was like kind of gloomy and overcast, and it just felt like a walk in the park from the day before. I just remember trying to like push the limit on getting deeper, and like everyone was started to go in, and it was like the tide was getting lower, which you can't really surf it on low. And I just remember like pumping through this first bit, insane section, like perfect 6 foot, like rifling down there, like close out typical Greenbush looking wave. And then this whole next section just went before I got to it. And it was like someone had just opened a door to the reef. Like there was no gravity at all. Like I just completely went kaboom. I just remember going, oh no. And then like a little bit of a tumble over, and I was up, and I was like, oh yeah, that wasn't too bad. And obviously at the time it was my adrenaline kind of just like pumping. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, went to the boat, and I kind of felt it, and I could feel my board shorts were ripped. And at that point I was like, oh no, okay, I've like done it. And then I felt up my back, and I was like, yup, I can feel like full gouges. Funnily enough, that session I came away with a cover from that day, but it wasn't for like a big crazy pit. It was for hitting the reef. But I'm stoked on it today. It's kind of almost better in a way. But yeah, that was my first ever cover, which was like kind of like a little plus / iconic moment. It was yeah, great memory. Sore memory, but good. I was competing, trying to get on the world tour at that time. I think I might have just sort of been in the thick of the QS. It was definitely like one of those milestone moments where like that session, that trip kind of like stamped a little like, I'm here, I'm like a young Grom that's possibly could be doing this for another 10 years. And then here we are talking about it today, and probably set the pace of what I loved most in surfing, which is chasing heavy, perfect pits